Hello, and thank you for coming to Adept's video channel. This is my first time here on YouTube, so I'll give you a brief introduction about my company and myself. Adept is an engineering consulting firm based in New York that specializes in machine and product engineering. My name is Matt Hayduck. I'm a veteran engineer of 30 years. I founded Adept about 22 years ago. So today I'm going to talk to you a bit about 3D printing. The brief history for Adept and 3D printing was about 2 years ago. We took a look at bringing 3D printing in-house to help provide a better solution for our clients. And ultimately, after a long search of the printers available and the processes available, their reliability, the cost of consumables, maintenance of machines, we just felt that outsourcing was still going to fill our needs. About 6 months ago, I decided to take another look. We had several clients that needed 3D prototypes and felt maybe now, because the industry is advancing so quickly, there would be a solution out there. So I went out looking at the different solutions. I actually went out with the mindset to purchase some of the new SLA printers that are available for desktop services. But ultimately, the build volume is what turned us off about those printers. So I started looking more at FFF printing and looking at those printers that were available, and ultimately I settled on a company based out of the Netherlands called Leapfrog. And more exclusively, we chose their printer, the Leapfrog Bolt. So today I'm going to talk to you about the Leapfrog Bolt and what attracted Adept to it, as opposed to all the other printers that are out there. So let's talk about it. As you can see, the Bolt is a relatively large machine when it comes to desktop printers. I don't think you're going to get much bigger than this for a desktop. It weighs 134 pounds, so it's a heavy machine, so make sure you have a sturdy table to mount it on. We got a really nice sturdy table at IKEA, a really great deal there that really supports the printer well. It's a relatively large printer. It's 28.5 inches deep by 32.7 inches wide by 31.5 inches tall. So it's a big, bulky machine. So if you decide on purchasing a Bolt, be sure when it's delivered that you have a friend or a coworker available to help you move it, because you're not going to move this guy by yourself. All right. So immediately you can tell that Leapfrog put some time and effort in with designers to come up with an aesthetically pleasing machine. I personally think it's very aesthetically pleasing, personal preference of course, but I think it's, especially as far as 3D printers go, it's a good looking machine. It's got these nice plastic vacuum form covers, enclosing the machine with a nice plexiglass front. The vacuum form covers are all assembled with industrial Velcro, so that there are no external fasteners. Gives the machine a really clean look, which I really liked. The plastic door in the front, very large. I would have liked personally to see some sort of ceiling here, but where it's bringing air, through the large fan in the back, you have negative pressure, so it should be pulling air in through there and not blowing out. Anyway, also looking at the outside of the machine, you can see it has a nice large 5 by 7 inch touchscreen to control the machine, so there are no knobs to spin, looking for menus. A really nice addition to this machine. Just on their latest software release, they added this nice little screensaver, which has the Bolt logo, but it also tells you how far your print is along. This print is 75% done. It's about a 30-hour print. It's been going along quite well here. So that's a nice feature. I personally would have liked to see hours and minutes displayed on that screen print, the 75%, if I don't remember how long the print was. It's kind of meaningless, but still a nice addition. Touchscreen is super responsive. It really, you can get all the machine settings, the maintenance here. You can see how long the print will take. It's really an advancement over turning knobs and so forth. Also on the front of the machine, you can see you have a USB port and a power button, very conveniently located. If you still want to transfer files with USB, great. Ports right there. However, the machine is Wi-Fi capable. It's on our network here in the office. Any of the computers can access it, submit prints. They can access the onboard webcam and view the print from your desk. Also a real nice convenience. Okay? So let's go inside the machine. Got a really nice heavy-duty hinge for this large plexiglass door. Something that really attracted me to the Bolt was that it's a very apparent robust design. Okay, a lot of the 3D FFF printers out there, they're built upon aluminum extruded frames, bolted frames, which I find to be very flexible, which I don't believe is a good characteristic for a 3D printer. The Leapfrog Bolt, on the other hand, is built on a solid aluminum chassis. The chassis of the machine is made out of 4mm aluminum plate. The sides, the bottom, the back of the machine are solid plate, which makes for a very rigid platform. The X and Y axis are on 12mm solid steel rods. And I might want to add that you should obey the warning here. Never to open the machine while it's operating. Never reach inside it. I'm allowed to. I'm a trained professional. I have a waiver that permits me to reach inside the machine. So, but you should not. Immediately apparent when you look at the Bolt is you see the two twin extruders. There are a lot of 3D printers out there with two extruders. One unique feature about the Bolts, as you can see apparently right now, this print we're printing with the right extruder and the left extruder is dormant. Okay? They're on separate axes. They have a separate x-axis. You can see that there are actually two belts, two motors that operate those exclusively. Okay? So the beauty of that is that right now I just print with one, which is fine. I can use both extruders, for instance, in the sync mode. Just yesterday we had 8 parts to print, and there was a duplicate 4 and 4. So we printed 4 on the left side with the left extruder. We set up the machine in sync mode, and the right extruder printed the same 4 on the right side. So we got 8 parts in the time it would take to print 4. A real nice feature, attracted us towards the Bolt. At the same time, with that same feature, you can access what's called mirror mode. Done quite a few parts on this latest design because this design is symmetrical. So any part on the left side that's symmetric on the right, the Bolt can do those at the same time. Here at Adept, we have all the latest software that certainly can make those mirror models, and we use that in the modeling. However, when we come to the Bolt, we would load in the left side, allow the Bolt to mirror it, and make the right side. And what that allows the Bolt to understand that it is an exact mirror, so the two heads print both sides at the same time. Again, you get the left and the right side, and at time it only prints the left side. A real nice feature we saw in the Bolt, and very happy to have that. We used it on multiple parts here. You could also use that, well, let me go into something else. So the other thing that we saw with this robust design with the 4mm plates, and another feature, and I believe it's in all of the Leapfrog printers, is the 3 ball screw Z-axis. The Z-axis platter is mounted on 3 separate ball screws controlled by one belt. And from an engineering perspective, and having things properly constrained, I just immediately saw that as a feature that really made me think these guys knew what they were doing. Okay, another nice feature. With the large printer, you get a large bed. Okay, the bed is 12.6 inches in your y-axis, 13.1 I believe in your x-axis, and 8.1 in the z-axis. So a pretty large bed. One of the largest beds for a desktop 3D printer I think that's out there. Don't quote me, maybe there are some out there, but for an enclosed desktop printer, I think this is one of the largest out there, which is another attractive feature of the Bolt. Additionally, remember, do not reach inside your machine. They have a very large fan in the back, okay, that also has this hyperallergenic filter, which really cuts down on the smell of the plastic entering into the office environment. It works well. Not 100%, especially if you leave the door open, but if the door is closed, right now we're just printing PLA. You can enter the office, you can smell some PLA, but certainly not as much as if you had an open machine or didn't have that filter installed. So if during the whole print you leave the door shut, you get a a lot less fumes in the office, which is another attractive feature for the Bolt. Another attractive characteristic of the Bolt is it prints a lot of different plastics. You have a bed that goes up to 90°C. You have a hot end that goes up to, I believe, 265°C normally, and they have a very hot optional head that goes up 360°C. Don't quote me. You can look up all these specs on Leapfrog.com, LPFRG, not the word leapfrog, but LPFRG.com. So the specs are all there. Also, the Bolt is capable of printing a whole array of filaments. We have all their filaments here, and we plan on printing with all of them, and we'll be producing some videos showing our results with those different filaments as we go through them. Let me take this opportunity to talk a little bit about this extruder, because this really attracted me as we look more into FF printing and what gave problems and what didn't. One of the features that's real apparent is this very large heat sink on what we call the cool end, keeping the filament cool above the hot end. That was a very attractive feature that I saw that I thought would get rid of a very problematic issue with FF printers. With that, not only is that the large heat sink, it has its own designated fan, keeping that heat sink cool. There's a secondary fan outboard of that is ducted down to cool the filament as it comes out of the nozzle. And then there's a third fan on the back of the extruder that keeps, I believe, the electronics cool. There's the plugs for electrical connectors there where I believe warm up, as well as blowing some more air on that heat sink, keeping the temperature of the extruder in a nice controlled environment. Very good feature of this printer. There'll be a later video where I will probably go into some more details about the extruder, about maintaining the extruder, rebuilding the hot ends and that sort of thing. But for today, that about does it. Overall, we're very happy with the Leapfrog. We'll be going over some of the details of problems that we had with it in later videos. But for now, that's it. The Leapfrog Bolt. Thanks very much. Hope to talk to you again sometime. Bye.